I think we're live. There it is. Rob Mob! What's going on, guys? We got another Pokecast. We got somebody special today. When I first started YouTube, this is one of the first channels I actually started watching. And one of the first channels I started watching, and it really got me hooked with their personality and his personality and the way that their style is a really awesome channel. So I'm finally glad to introduce on the PolishRob's sCardsandZardPokecast, Dave 3rd Wood. What is going on, dude?
Hello, everybody.
Oh, man, hold on. You're not even on here. What did I do? Hold on a second. Hold on. We can't see Dave. The man of the hour. We can't even see him. I think we see him now. There he is.
That's me. Oh, snap.
Yeah, so we got Dave. Dave, what's going on, dude? How's your day been?
Woo! Not too bad. Just got back from the... was going to do a little tidbit of skateboarding, but
Yeah.
It's 103 degrees right now in LA.
Yeah.
So.
It's piping hot. I actually got back from Universal with Chelsea, and we planned on being there a little bit longer today, but we had to cut out a little bit early because it was just smoldering outside. Between the humid and just the heat alone. I mean, it was just terrible out there. It was wretched, so we had to get out of there. Plus, the wait times over there were 90 minutes to 120 minutes for one ride, so we were like, yeah, it's not even worth it.
Jeez.
Completely forgot that it's Labor Day weekend, so of course it's going to be a little bit busy.
Right? That's crazy, though.
But, yeah, so we got out of there and hung out for a little bit, and now here we are doing the Pokecast.
Here we be. Perfect thing.
So, Dave, you guys on your channel have been actually doing some vlogging, which I really like. What's going on with that? That's a little different for you guys.
The old vlogging job. I guess I periodically do a decent amount of vlogs. Like if I'm doing something special, I'll film clips of it and stuff. But we went up to northern Washington to see some of Teeps' friends and stop in Oregon, see her family and stuff. But the Washington trip was so awesome. We went up to Port Townsend, which is like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours away from Canada.
Okay.
And it is beautiful up there.
I'm
it's
sure.
Perfect weather. It's one of the parts of Washington that's not raining.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got really mild, just nice weather right on the bay.
Nice.
So we were just chilling. That's about it.
That's awesome. So you're in California. Are you guys northern or south?
Southern California.
Okay, so once you travel up north, did you guys like see any redwoods or anything like that? Something I definitely want to go ahead and see.
Yes. We went up. We usually stop about, I'd consider it Northern California in Redding. So we drive about 9 hours or so to there. And then after that, if we're going to Oregon, that's for 6 or 7 hours the next day. I've driven it in one thing. I'm pretty sure he's in the comments with my buddy River and stuff.
Okay.
Driving the whole thing in one day, though, is
treacherous.
Yeah, especially because either way, you're going to end up in the middle of nowhere when it's black. Whether you're going down and you're before LA and there's this whole, it's like 600 miles of desert, essentially.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's not, and just such a straight line.
Yeah.
That it doesn't look like you're going forward.
Dude, I bet. I actually, I used to work for a moving company a few years back. Well, not really a few years, about 5 or 6 years ago. But I drove through Texas, heading towards California, and Texas never ends. It literally never ends. Like, you go for a nap, for like 4 or 5 hours, because I used to drive a big rig, and the driver would drive me like, all right, dude, I'm gonna catch a couple Z's in the back, and I'd go crash. I'd wake up like 6, 7 hours later. I'm like, hey, are we? He's like, Texas. I'm like, oh my God, we're still in Texas? Like, get us out of here, man. It never ends. Texas just absolutely never ends.
No, Texas is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. So, Dave, I wanted to get into some Pokemon questions regarding your channel. You've been on a few Pokecasts since last few months or so, and so I've learned a lot about you through those Pokecasts, but I kind of want to touch up on a little bit. You've done a few channels before you did your Pokemon channel, And I kind of want to know your story as far as what happened with those channels and why did you settle with doing basically a Pokemon channel? You obviously venture off a little bit, right? You're doing your vlogs and all that stuff, which I completely think is awesome. And I definitely think a channel should venture out a little bit every once in a while. But you ended up at Pokemon, so how did that happen?
Well, I've always collected Pokemon since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been pretty keen on doing the art. It's just something that's always gravitated for me, always been nostalgic. And I guess eighth grade or so, me and my friends we'd make movies, videos, and we just upload them to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think at that time I don't think we even looked at if other people watched it, to be honest.
Well, how many years ago was that? That must have been in the beginning stage of YouTube in general, though, right? Because,
yeah.
I mean, YouTube has only really flourished in the last, let's say, 6 or 7 years, maybe, if that. So,
right.
And now it's hotter than ever, of course, right? But, like, how long ago are we talking that you're 8th grade? So how long ago was that?
I'm 30 now.
So we're talking 14 years, maybe? 15 years?
15 years ago or something?
Man, that's legitimately the beginning stages of YouTube. That's like, remember the video Unforgivable? You know, that was a big thing at that point, you know, when I was in high school, too, you know, that video was huge. That's beginning stages of YouTube, dude. So you're an OG, essentially, right?
Weird.
So you were saying you and your buddies used to post videos on there and you would never check the views, right?
No, not really. I mean, we'd film them, we'd make them, we'd actually do really decent editing. We made a full-length movie with not really much of a script. It was called Jib, Raider of the Lost Grandma, and I've looked for it, find it. But it had credits and like it was pretty ridiculous. It was an hour and a half long.
That's awesome, though.
I don't know how. Yeah.
Have you looked back at any of that stuff to see how it was doing?
Totally. Some of the stuff that I've done with my buddy River, we probably have 3 or 4 channels. So I guess when I was probably about 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
I had a channel with my friend Chris called Super Public Animal, and we did anything from live art to just hanging out, skits, just random stuff we'd think of, a lot of skateboarding.
Okay.
And at that time, we were doing a company where we print T-shirts. We would do custom printed art, screen printing, screen print boards. We do a lot of T-shirts for festivals. We also get in touch with festival people and do our separate art there. We bring our paintings there. And at that same time, I started hanging out with my buddy River, and we sort of eventually formed the company that we call 3rd Eye Evolutionaries.
Okay. So that's where you get 3rd Eye in the Pokemon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And from there, we started doing a ton of stuff. We continued going to festivals and vendoring. My friend Chris eventually kind of branched off and started traveling and stuff. And then me and my friends started traveling a lot. I would do a lot of live painting at events.
Okay.
So sometimes bands would contact me and say, "Hey, we're playing this show. We're up for 2-3 hours. Do you want to paint in front of us? You know, playing?"
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
It is definitely pretty awesome. I've done some of that out here. That's one of the reasons I traveled out west, was to just sort of branch out off the coast. And I've been to almost every single state. I've covered the East Coast doing festivals between Maine and pretty sure we went as far as Virginia. And and then we were headed down to Florida, but I don't know, I think I left before a couple of the events we had lined up.
Okay.
And then I quickly met people over here and made contacts over here. At that same time, let's see, Third Eye Evolutionaries had a lot of our, and it's still up, you can find those, skateboarding, vlog kind of things. We'd go skate the city a lot. Those were tournaments or good videos.
So how many views did these videos generate over the last, let's say, 10 years? Like, what are the statistics behind these videos?
Bad. I mean, I guess when you think of we never really like thought of it as like, oh, there's an algorithm to this.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
So we got to do our thumbnails and all this.
Yep.
Because it essentially just didn't.
Just kind of threw something up there and see what would happen, right?
Basically, we enjoyed watching them as well, and it was more of like a time capsule. Like, all right, we've got this phone that's got however much footage on it.
Yep.
We make them into YouTube videos, and then some of those channels, almost after like a certain grip of time, then we stopped, and it was more like, that's where this footage is located.
Okay.
Maybe on an old hard drive somewhere. But for the most part, like a different step of what I was doing or River was doing, it would become sort of like a chapter. And I have like a separate Instagram from when I left New York and then came over here. And then when I came over here, I made a different one because that sort of felt like a chapter in itself.
Now we're talking videos, or we're talking different channels?
Different channels.
Okay.
Complete channels. We have done a lot of traveling and traveling music, so that sort of turned into multiple channels. A band called Home. That was my buddy Greg, who I met down here actually in Venice Beach. I don't know. It was interesting meeting him because it wasn't like there was many words spoken. He had he pulled up to Venice Beach. He was playing guitar on the Strip. I was there for a couple days. I got a job at a restaurant, and at that same time, I saw him and he was playing. But the Venice Strip closes at like 6:30 or so at night. Goes from hundreds of people, thousands of people to nobody except for some creepy gremlins coming out of the shadow.
Of course, I mean you find creepy gremlins everywhere, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely. Over time, maybe I'll make a second channel where it's like something I won't monetize because a lot of the things are inappropriate.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah, instead like let me upload these and tell these stories, and then 60 videos are demonetized. So
Oh God.
I'm thinking about that so I could eventually River and I could eventually do some more live stream, tell some of the stories.
Yeah.
We've literally been through all the ups and downs, and
That's awesome though.
Well, yeah, it's definitely been.
I mean, in general too, it builds character, right? Going through all kinds of stuff, and definitely too, like, I mean, if you have those channels still up and running, like, why not, invest more time and venture out a little bit and put some stuff, back into those channels, like, just Narcan them back to life, if you will.
I like to. Some of them really have such good clips. I mean, maybe I'll hook up with River, and then we can see if we can get some of them downloaded. Some of like the best of kind of things.
Okay.
I've got gnarly skate falls on there.
There it is. There's a lot you can do with that, no doubt. But when did you land on Pokemon and why? Like, what? I know you said in the beginning you've always collected Pokemon, but what was that X factor that was just like, you know what? It's time for a Pokemon channel out here in California.
Right. Well, I guess it's interesting. So I did some collaborations and stuff because I do my art and whatnot. I did some art for these dudes called Braille, and if you type in Braille, they'll come up. It's honestly one of the biggest YouTubes out there. It's definitely the biggest YouTube. And this dude, Aaron Kyra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is a custom grip for him. I haven't sent this one yet, just because this one's
that is sweet, dude.
Why, thank you.
That is freaking absolutely awesome.
I finished it, and unfortunately, this dog right here passed. And it was just this weird timing. I was getting ready to mail it, and then this dog. I was like, maybe I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah, you're not lying. You don't want to bring out any extra emotions.
No, especially to somebody I've been looking up to for 20 years.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's been around forever. Professional skateboarder and stuff. He owns this company, Braille. And then I got contacted by one of my favorite skaters, Chris McNugget. He's definitely going to be pro soon. He's awesome. There's a good chance if you typed Braille Army or Chris McNugget or something, one of the first thumbnails of him on YouTube will pop up with the first custom grip I did him. A big Caterpie with art on the top. And then the rest of the Braille team I eventually individually contacted so I can find out, what they wanted and all that. After I sent Chris McNugget's script, they were all super stoked. And most of them wanted Pokemon, so it was pretty interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And were these guys like Pokemon fans before, or did you just sending that grip often kind of just like brought back the nostalgia for them?
Well, I know Chris McNugget. He's sort of famous, I suppose, for he'd always skate in like an Ash Ketchum.
Okay.
Thing.
That's cool.
Fingerless,
that's cool.
The snapback and stuff. And then I guess, it brought back like a weird nostalgic thing. And then I did some other that were non-Pokemon. Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I did an Aku for awesome filmer, skateboarder, Aussie Dan. Such a cool dude. Let's see. I did Uzi Walker, a Charizard.
So this is all stuff that you did before you started your channel?
My first videos, actually, on my channel.
Okay.
For me, they're kind of cringy to watch.
Of course. Any trust me. If anybody knows what you're talking about, I know. It's absolutely freaking just preposterous even watching it over again. But yeah, no, continue.
35 minutes of like...
Oh, no, I get it, dude. Trust me, I get it. And I opened some good product, and the showcasing was absolutely freaking wretched. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. But otherwise, the content is relatively good. Some of them were time lapses of the art itself. My first couple videos are pretty sloppy, but which I don't know why, because I've been making videos forever. Yeah. But
it's just that new feeling, right? Like the new channel, new vibes, trying to figure it out. Like, what are you going to do? Where are you going to take it? And I mean, that happens. That's any early stages, I mean, you watch any of the big guys, not even just in Pokemon, like any outlet out there, like anything, FaZe, Mr. Beast. I mean, I can just start rattling off names. PewDiePie. You watch the beginning stages, and it's kind of like, like that was that guy. You're like, this is what they started off as, and now they're, So I mean, you have baby phases with everything, that you start off, whether it's, anything social media related, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Like, we all have those cringy phases in the beginning when you're starting something new. We're all getting our feet wet,
Yeah, for sure. And I was trying to sort of segue it all together. I think around that same time, because of my doing Braille, people that watch Braille fans and then the videos I uploaded,
okay,
I guess mine were recommended to them.
Okay.
Somehow, I think CJV started watching my videos. Was like, you watch Braille? And then I was just like, sent him a video and was like, oh, I just sent all these arts to Braille.
Yeah.
And oh, snap. And somehow around the time, I thought it was a really original idea. I was like, I'm doing Pokemon grips. Let me open a pack of Pokemon
Mm.
with this grip. And then I
Okay.
think because of like my title and all that stuff,
Yeah.
um, certain people got recommended to my channel, and all of a sudden I was, watching CJV one day and watching TCG Funhouse, and the rest seemed like history. Like
Yeah.
something, TCG Funhouse watched one of their first video the other day and was like critiquing it.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it was hilarious, and it was just weird because I didn't realize like I was watching their first video.
Yeah.
CJV had won their first giveaway, so I think it was a lot of timing as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That when I was like, I'm going to make my own channel again, because a lot of my channels were collabs with a couple of my friends. I couldn't necessarily work on them without this person as well. I'm across the country now. Let me just film some of the stuff I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it was for some of my friends back home and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I knew a lot of them. Where the fuck's Dave?
That's interesting that you brought that up, though. That's how you started your channel with opening Pokemon was through that Braille team, right? You didn't go through. It seems like you didn't go through the Leonhardt stage. You didn't go through the Ando stage. Like that's kind of crazy that you're like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and start this channel. You kind of went an complete alternate, like underground route to your channel, to your Pokemon channel, which is pretty interesting, right? Like a lot of these guys that either I've interviewed or have talked to. Personally or off channel, Instagram, whatever the case may be, a lot of them go through the Leonhardt stage or the Primetime Pokemon stage or the Real Breaking Nate stage. They go through the stages and they're like, I want to do this. I enjoy Pokemon and I want to record videos myself opening them. I want to get involved in the community. I want to share my experience, right? But it seems like you didn't go through that stage at all. You went a complete alternate route with it, which is awesome.
It was trippy. I mean, I was living at my brother's in New York. And I remember around the same time, there was only so much stuff I could bring. I literally took a backpack and left. So most of my stuff was there.
Yeah.
And one day he sent me like all my Pokemon cards, and a lot of these cards I had for forever essentially, and sort of just kept them nice. Didn't really think about like restarting my collection, but every few years or so, I would get like a pack.
Okay.
And for a while, when I was in New Jersey, my friends and I, we would battle Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic cards and stuff.
Okay.
And it was always an interest, but I never put it at the forefront. I had a couple friends who did, and it just I get bored relatively easy, so I like to kind of move, not niches, but at least incorporate a multitude of my interests and what I like to do into one thing. So projects and things like that is stuff I start all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Making fingerboards and stuff.
Yeah.
It never essentially becomes like I'm always available for commission and stuff like that. I always do paintings. I've sold paintings all over the country, all over the world. But then sometimes, depending where I am and what I'm doing, I allow that to be an existing part of my life, but I won't necessarily step back from it, but I'll change the focus, I guess, on what specifically I'm painting or creating. And if I'm doing like live art, let's say, when I started doing festivals, I would go to all these different places. I'd bring the shirts I'd made. I'd bring, 400 shirts I'd make of one graphic, and then 300 of the other, and then 200 of this. And then I started bringing a lot of blank stuff.
Okay.
Especially when I was there for a couple of days at a time. And, wow, probably almost 10 years ago already, I started doing a lot of custom stuff because I would be at a location for however long I'd be at a show. Um, I'd sell paintings that were already created, but I really found a focus on using what I was able to do to make something that somebody else wanted. I had so much art. I had given away so much. I don't want it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't have a place to put 90 to 100 paintings.
Yeah.
Every I create something, so I spent a decent amount of time just making something for the sake of making it. It would get that out of my system, and then...
Well, when you were at these live festivals, and selling these paintings, right, did you have, like, a lot of spare time? You know, is that why it kind of brought it up? Like, you were like, I got this time, and I'm sitting around here. Why don't I do a live painting for somebody that requests something while selling my other stuff? Is that kind of how it flourished?
Yeah, sort of. In a way, when I started doing when bands would contact me, or I'd be at a place and somebody would request for me to do live painting on stage,
okay,
a lot of the people there would see 2, 3, 4, 5 of these paintings made right in front of them. Some people would see the whole thing from start to finish.
Okay.
And that person would watch, see that I'm done, and then approach me and go, is that for sale? I just paint that for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I need this.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then sometimes I just go, okay, here you go, perfect timing, you got lucky.
Wow. Okay.
It's just because, like, I did it just because I had the materials. I did it to the music. The moment is there. And a lot of those things ended up being sort of just captured moments.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, because of the festival I'm at, because of the thing I'm doing, there's essentially, it was like a living souvenir. And some people totally saw that. They were like, whether I would do a literal scene of people dancing or just sort of an energetic moment of what the music is capturing, or a literal, hey, I like dolphins. And then I'll go, oh, I'll paint you dolphins.
Yeah.
Whatever I did at that time spoke way more to that individual person than any of the art that I'd already brought in with me.
Which made more sense, right?
Absolutely. The more and more I did, the more and more it just makes sense to, I was constantly busy, but I sort of like that. You know, there was some downtime. I'd go listen to my music and take a chill dance break or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just something that was really, really cool to be able to say to somebody, hey, come back in 2 hours.
Yeah, and I'll have it done for you.
I'll do this thing for your son or daughter.
Yeah.
And then they'd be back and they'd be blown away. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely, there's so much communication and kind of an ability to break barriers with things like just kind of connecting on like a weird real level. And sometimes it's pretty daunting to like always do some realism or always do something that has a deep meaning behind it, something that, this obviously means a lot to somebody.
Yeah.
So that in itself is heavy to bear. Like, I've done portraits, I've done, people's dead relatives and things like that, and that's always an amazing thing to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll go, okay, that painting was almost sad to create.
Yeah.
I'm not going to paint for like a week or two.
Mm.
And then it builds up and I need to. So then I sort of found the niche of creating Pokemon when I was in like kindergarten. Maybe I was in first grade. I don't know. Time.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's many moons ago. Many moons ago.
But when Pokemon first came out, in lunch, little kids would be like, well, I was a little kid, so kids would be like, when Raichu and Charizard were together. And I'd be like, a Raichu-Zard? I can make a Raichu-Zard.
Just mind blown. And
it kind of started there. And I would just make it for people, and then people give me like their snack pack or something like that.
That's awesome.
And then
well, that's pretty cool because like, so that speaks to your channel now, because I was going to ask you a question. I was going to ask you if when you started your channel, you know, it just kind of like a light bulb went off and you're like, hey, I'm going to start doing, I'm going to transition my energy with art, and I'm going to take that to the Pokemon side and make these custom cards and make these custom paintings and custom drawings with Pokemon. But that's not what happened. I mean, what you're telling me right now is like that was already happening in elementary school. Like you were already creating these concoctions before, like, you know, Dave 3rd Eye Wood Pokemon came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for the longest time, which is always weird. It's hard for me to ever take something and then put it aside and then go, okay, I used to do that.
Yeah.
So it just sort of gets thrown into a backpack. And it's like, that's a thing I've done before and I could do it again.
Yeah.
I brought that into work with me and things like that. That's sort of how I got involved in horseback riding and snowboard instructing and just sort of all these different things, and they sort of all tie together with art. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a unique, a unique outlet of taking stuff, you know, from the past and bringing it to the future and putting it aside and then bringing it back to life. Like it's definitely interesting, especially with Pokemon too, right? Like, I think a lot of people too that are in the chat right now and watching the live stream, I think they can relate to that too, because a lot of us, if not majority of the people in the Pokemon community, did put off Pokemon for a while. I mean, there was that time period for myself that I put it off, and I'm sure for you as well. Like, you know, just the way you're talking right now, and a lot of people I've spoke to, we've all put off Pokemon, and the things that happened. So, you know, you put off Pokemon for a little bit, which meant that you put off your Pokemon drawings and your Pokemon art. But then it brought it back to life, which brought back the artwork back to life, which brought, you know, what you're doing now today. But my question for you is, when did the on-card art start to happen? Was that happening in that era too, in the kindergarten era, or was that something recent with the channel?
That was definitely something more recent.
Okay.
I have done, I don't know, I guess it was just something I saw and didn't even really realize that it was something that people did. I just looked a lot at the main art of the card and like some of the
just expanded on it, right?
Yeah, it was just something like some of my favorite cards I would end up pulling out of the pack would be, you know, some discarded Pikachu card, and I would be like, art on that is incredible, and nobody cares about it because it's not. I guess when the
like anything out of this world, right? It's like, okay, well, it's just a random Pikachu, but what you do is you take that Pikachu and you make it a glam Pikachu, and then it's something that somebody wants, right? You know, like somebody that is actually like, hey, you made that thing come back to life. It was a common Pikachu with like a 30 attack and something that I had in my bulk pile, but now you just made it into something that like I'd like to display in my office or studio or dining room coffee table, you know what I mean? Which is very unique.
And that's kind of why I did. It's more like I always had the thought of like, all right, this person just won my giveaway, or this person, whatever, I'm going to send them some mail. They also have 15 times more cards than I do. Send them, you know, a chunk of cards that they already have.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to send this person who...
Something unique. Something different, right?
Exactly. Especially when sending things to bigger YouTubers. I just sent some stuff to Real Breaking Nate. What the heck do I send Real Breaking Nate? He has a room of cards that's bigger than my apartment. So, what do I send? Something one of a kind, something that is recreated specifically for that person, and then doing the cards thing. It's just kind of like it's a little canvas I can make.
I like it. I love the idea, and like, to be honest, you're the first person that introduced me to that. Now I've seen it more now expanded with other artists and stuff doing that stuff with on the Pokemon cards, but like, you were, to me, the originator of that. Like, that's where I saw it first. Like, this, you know, your channel brought me to realize that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. And honestly, there's a lot of beauty in it. And that's something I wouldn't sit here and think about, like, ever doing, you know, until I saw it done. And, you know, you're the first that I've ever seen do something like that. And your creations are always on freaking point. So anybody that doesn't know that in the chat and is not subscribed to Dave and does know about his artwork, definitely check him out. I highly recommend it. It's very unique. It's a great style. And you probably have not seen anything like it, so I definitely recommend checking out that. I also want to acknowledge everybody in the chat. I have been looking over. There's some slick comments in there which have made me giggle. But I'm really invested in the conversation because it's just a different perspective on Pokemon, and Dave has a different way of doing things and talking about it, and the way it's just very unique than what I'm used to talking about. And I'm very, very into this conversation because I think it's just awesome. I mean, we all have different walks of life and different things that happen to us and different ways we end up somewhere. And, you know, yours is definitely one of a kind. And it's something I could definitely appreciate as a fellow collector and a friend and PokeTuber. So, by the way, let me answer some of these questions. Rob, who's your favorite character from The Office? It is Dwight, hands down. Dave, if you have a response to that too, mine's definitely Dwight. I think he's freaking hilarious. I laugh at everything he does in The Office. One of my favorite characters.
Probably Dwight.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, somebody put up Burger Challenge. Dave, you want to talk about the Burger Challenge? Are we going to see the Burger Challenge from you?
You are, I believe. I got to prep. I got to make sure it's not 103 degrees. just because that's I'm not going to be fun.
It was quite warm in my studio. It was quite warm, to say the least. And the meat sweats were not helping. But you're going to take a different approach to this. So for those people that don't know, Dave and Teeps too are vegetarian. They don't eat meat. And Dave put in my comment section, if it was vegetarian, I would. And I fired back within 2 minutes. And I said, veggie burgers are okay. I'll take a veggie burger. I just want to see someone do the damn thing. Like, let's be honest. I just want to see somebody do it. Not just me. And anybody else in the chat, please do it. Just do it. I mean, even if you eat one patty off of it, I'll still be thrilled. I think it's just fun, and it's something different. And it still involves Pokemon. Like, it's not out of anybody's reach to do something like that. Right. And I think it'd be interesting. So as soon as you said veggie burger, I was like, yeah. Or I don't do meat. I was like, oh, well, there's veggie burgers. I know Impossible. I know Beyond. I know whatever else you want to go ahead and make a burger into. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm super excited. I like eating challenges, but some of them are. I love spicy stuff. I've been asked to do, Pocky One Chip, and I did eat a scorpion pepper on my channel, but
ooh,
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
It was so hot that it wasn't hot.
Yeah, I bet. It was so hot that you were getting cold chills.
Yeah, I broke a skateboard in half and was pacing around.
Oh, man.
I don't
Yeah, when I was doing the challenge, at one point I said I almost rather do something spicy. But I'm sure if I did something spicy, I'd say I almost rather do something that was just engorging. You know what I mean? Something that would just make me really full. So I guess it just goes hand in hand. And
yeah, I'm cool with being a Tubbs, but I don't want a stingy bum. So
I'll tell you what, though, my mom, once the video got posted, she reached out to me about an hour after it got posted and said, just send me a text. Well, first she called me, and I was in the middle of editing, so I didn't answer. So she sent me a text right away. I said, "Are you okay?" Like, she thought I was just keeled over on the side of my bed, living in a vat of grease. You know what I mean? And it was just fun. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. She's like, oh my god, like, what were you thinking? I was like, I was thinking it was going to be a good video. I was thinking I can complete the challenge, and I did. So I'm, happy with what happened. And it seems like everybody else I was watching enjoyed it, and I'm hopefully, get some other people to go ahead and do it, because I think it's just a fun, different activity that we're not typically used to doing or watching. So, yeah, I'm ready for that veggie burger. So whenever you're ready, please tag me and tag the world, and I'm ready to watch this happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna prepare, and I'll make a yummy. I'll add some pickles, maybe.
There you go.
Tomato.
Yeah, I mean, I said condiments are optional. Whatever you want to put on there, go ahead. Whatever makes your experience better. Mine was ketchup because I wanted the least in my stomach as possible because I knew I was already going to be eating a lot.
Yeah. I know it's gonna not be fun, but I love eating. We'll see. I may or may not regret it.
Yeah, I had a lot of theories before going into that as well, and all my theories were either not true or completely busted. So you don't know until you try.
Right.
Those are facts.
This amount of time, you won't be full. It'll just be.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, for anybody that does decide to want to do it on YouTube, Dave, if you guys do it, the last bite is by far the worst. It is the worst bite. If you're at your fullest point, you can't smell it, you can't look at it, and you know that's, I'll refer to this. If you have to go to the restroom, right? If you're 2 miles outside of your house, you're okay. But the closer you get home, the worse you have to go. And it's the same thing. It was the same thing with that sandwich. It was like the closer I was done to finishing, the more I couldn't eat anymore. And that's why I took myself to that. I'm like, mind over matter. Don't think about it. Just do it. Keep your mind strong. You got this. You got the room in there. I know you do. I've seen your stomach naked a bunch of times. You can fit it in there, man. Just get it down. So we got it down, man. We got it down. But I definitely like to see somebody else do it.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that. That's going to be cool. I got some Pokémons here.
Yeah, I'm down to open something a little bit too. So Dave has some Darkness Ablaze, right? And then different other concoctions, some stuff maybe. And I myself also have these double pack blisters. So if you guys want me to go through each blister first, I will. If you want me to go through Darkness Ablaze, open these up, go to Darkness Ablaze first, then do Sword and Shield after. You can just let me know in the chat. And we will try to get some fire pulls in the meantime. But, yeah. And by the way, Dave, you and Teeps have been crushing it really after, even before that Zacian pull, even after that, you guys were just absolutely crushing it on the pulls.
Right.
It was pretty impressive.
She kicked it off. I remember her favorite set's Cosmic Eclipse. That was her second booster pack ever. Her first booster pack ever was an Unbroken Bonds, and she pulled. It wasn't Rainbow or anything, but her first card she ever pulled was a Reshazard. So I freaked out. I hadn't pulled a Charizard.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, was it the Hyper Rare?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was just a GX, but it was still pretty freaking sick. I think before that, the only Zard I've ever pulled was from a random pack I bought in 2012 from a
Nice.
So yeah, that's actually a pretty good pull. But otherwise, I had never pulled any kind of Zard. She broke the ice on that one.
Yeah, you ain't lying. That's a nice pull to go ahead and start off with.
Yeah, and then her second booster pack was a Cosmic Eclipse, and she pulled the Stone ADP.
Okay. So, speaking of Teeps, so I'm assuming that you're the one that got her into Pokemon and starting to crack open some packs?
Yes, that was completely me. We got a Volcarona reverse rare. And
there it is. Hey, we got a Hoopa.
All right.
We got a Hoopa holographic. So we're starting off a little bit with a little bit of something, right?
Okay, a little spice.
So how did that whole thing happen with Teeps and opening Pokemon cards? Like, how did you guys tackle that one on?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess actually I do know. All right, so I got a random idea. I already started the channel, and but let's do little openings on my. That might have been like 200 subs or something.
Okay.
Or I'm thinking of an idea for my 150 sub giveaway.
Okay.
And I just sort of came up with an idea. All right, I'll open them. You use your hands. If anybody notices, then I'll send them something.
That's awesome. That's Super unique.
right? And I think she pulled some crazy card, so I broke character and then grabbed something like a sleeve,
Yeah.
and then goes, "Wait, did you just have three hands?" So I think that was I think that was Wade's Brigade, Wade Brigade's Pokemon channel.
Yeah.
I think he said that. So I asked them what they wanted. He said he wanted something for his daughter Haley. That kind of segued into me doing custom packs of Pokemon and stuff rather than sending them a bunch of cards. She was like, I love Pikachu. So I was like, all right, a bunch of custom Pikachus.
That's awesome.
He did a thing, and then people started contacting me and asking me for commissions. But instead of, like, I'd pretend I was taking the commission, and then I would just mail it to them. Because I'd be like, oh, yeah, and what's your favorite thing? Let me get your address real quick. Wait, how much do I owe you? And then I would just kind of...
Just send it off. Man, that's super nice.
Just send it off. Just because.
Yeah.
I do my painting. I got a little bit off my chest, I guess, or whatever. And then that's the payment in itself. Like, something that I would just have, somebody else is going to like however much more.
10 times more, right?
Yeah, exactly. And appreciate it on a whole different level.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that than make money. And every now and then, I have a ton of cards. I'll sell some stuff. But
yeah.
Even with painting, it all depends. Like, I remember one time I was doing a commission. I was up in the Dalles, Oregon, which is the middle of nowhere. But somebody contacted me, I think through their Facebook Marketplace, or I guess it's called the Dalles. It's like a local sort of thing. Saw my art, contacted me, was like, hey, can you do something of my friend Teeps or something with bugs?
Okay.
So it was just a drawing class. And I think that actually happened through me going to things. And I made some friends. They would play some live music and say, hey, we're down at the coffee shop. Do you want to paint while I'm doing it? I don't know how I ended up doing that there as well, but I did. Then somebody was like, wow, this is great. Can you do this? I said, yeah, okay. And then this one person was such a pain. Like, I'd send them a picture, but I didn't send them the completed picture because I got like a weird feeling that they're just going to print it off.
Hey!
Oh,
Crobat, full art, let's go. Let us celebrate here for a second. We'll take it. We'll take it, dude. That's spicy.
That's a sick card.
That's spicy, dude. Look at that. The artwork on it is just absolutely awesome.
Holy crap.
Dude, Dave, I'll tell you what, man. The video doesn't do this card justice. In person, man, it is spicy looking.
Right? The color pops like nuts. It probably looks insane. We pulled a Crobat in the Redwoods.
There it is.
But not the full art.
So, Dave, you were talking about your art now. I'm seeing a trend, a big trend. I mean, it seems like from the beginning, man, like art has just been the biggest, if not, the staple of your whole life, right? Like, it seems like everything that you do just revolves around some kind of artwork. Not necessarily paintbrush to paper, but any kind of thing artistic or meticulous. Like, it seems like that's what you basically surrounded your whole life about, which is, I think, very interesting. That, you say that you've been, putting things off in a backpack, but that seems like it's something that really hasn't been put away, right? Like, it's something that's all just followed you throughout your whole life.
Right. Well, definitely. My dad was an artist. He was an art teacher, and he had to stop. Probably my older brother is about 15 years older. And then when he was raising my brother, he had to get a different job. Like art teacher in the 70s, you know, you're barely making anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always dragon paintings all over the house, and there was wizard paintings, and there was sculptures and all this cool stuff. My older brother, he does graphic arts, and it's just always something I've done. I've been able to draw before I was able to write, and then my older brother helped me a ton, but also I practiced a lot. Like I would doodle, but then he would see the doodle and say, "Nah, do that again."
Mm-hmm.
Nah, again.
Okay.
Or he'd put something in front of me, I would draw it, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, but you're looking at the paper." So then he pretty much taught me to look up from my paper at whatever image I'm looking at, and then really see what's in it, where the shadow is, where the light is, where the contour of the object is, and all the stuff in between, rather than just drawing line arts, how to create depth, how to use different shading techniques. So it's something I've always gravitated toward. I didn't get in trouble in school, but I got in trouble pretty much every single grade for drawing in class.
Mm-hmm.
Not
well, I mean, it was something you were passionate about, right? So, like, why not?
I more or less gave the teachers the attitude of like, this doesn't matter, you know, I'm not disrupting class.
Yeah.
I don't care that it bothers you. I'm going to draw.
Yeah. No, I mean, do what you're passionate about. I often say sometimes that, you know, sometimes I feel like we go to school and we don't learn what we really need in life. More oftentimes than not, you know, some things you learn you never take back. You don't learn how to do your taxes, and you don't learn how to, you know, do other trades of work or something that you might actually benefit from. You learn some things that unfortunately you will never use unless you go off to college or a higher up profession. But like sometimes people need to know the basic skills in life, and that's something we don't find or that we're passionate about. So why not do something you're passionate about, which may actually get you further in life than you will, you know, studying, I don't know, Spanish for 4 years because you have to pass, you know. Although I'm not saying that's bad. Like if you do another, I think getting another language also can be very beneficial in life as well. It was just something that popped into my head, and it's something that's required in most schools is learning another language for, I think it's 2 years in high school. It might have changed. It's been a while since I've been in high school, but it was something that was required of me at that point in time. It's something I wasn't interested in. I was interested in other things, but I had to do this instead because that was required for me to go ahead and get my diploma and graduate.
Yeah. And I had to go to, you know, a year and a half of college to realize that's not what I wanted to do with art.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is weird. When you go to school for that, there's a whole different realm of how to go about getting art especially, out into people. One, your portfolio, and your, like, essentially no art teacher, no professional artist, not a single one cares what you think.
Mm-hmm.
None of them. But they want to see ability. So once you can prove that you have the ability to see, that you have the ability to recreate, that you have the ability to sketch and make, I suppose, basic recreated images follow direction, then once you prove that over however many years, then you can get into your thesis, then you can get into the creative part of your mind and try to, you know, more like how people duct tape a banana to a wall and it sells for $4 million or something. I personally think that's garbage, but I'm sure that artist had to prove that they were talented, they were creative, they were whatever, and go through all the steps and loops before even being allowed to do something that could be considered like a modern art from that kind of aspect. Because going through the loopholes of the contemporary art world is crazy. I mean, I've had art teachers rip up my projects. I've had
It's crazy.
If you don't follow direction, like they don't care if you're really good. They want you to paint the naked lady who's standing on the damn table. Paint the lady.
Well, here's my question with that. Like, the people that say let's say the teacher that has ripped up your artwork before, right? Like, what kind of credentials she has, except that she went to go to school to go learn how to do art? Does she have any major purchase or major sales or any features, or you know what I mean? Has she been published? Like what kind of credentials does someone have like that to basically call your art garbage, right? It's unique, it's different, and why? Like who are they to say what is? I mean, if you're going to art school to learn how to draw a perfect circle, whatever, okay, I get it, but there's art in different, unique ways. So who are they to do something? Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, some of them were honestly. One of the ladies, worst teacher I've ever had. One of the most brilliant painters I've ever seen, though.
Okay.
And I wasn't even at the school. I was just using the studio. But her name is Julie Heffernan, and you could look her up. She actually does amazing paintings, but they do follow like a oil paint background of like a thing has to be a certain way in order for it to be good.
Okay.
Kind of thing. I do believe my style and the ability to recreate threw her off. She had a very hard time telling me like my paintings were bad because they weren't, and I knew that sort of pissed her off, but they definitely weren't her version of what she would like.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Everybody has their own version of how they like things. They want the thing is done. You know, like Picasso had a different style. You know, Leonardo had a different. Like they didn't follow the same styles of each other. They're unique for a reason, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go to school, you can potentially get the opportunity to showcase your individualism, but it's very rare. And you do have to sort of play the game, go to galleries, talk the talk, and schmooze, and go to wine things. And honestly, none of it is appealing to me. Even some of the friends I'd be like, I can't even think of an example because of how like art shouldn't be something you use to talk down to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were like, oh, I was at the Guggenheim. And
yeah. Well, yeah, the word you're looking for is snobby, right? That's what's snobby about art, right? Yeah. Everybody has their own style. Everyone has their own way. And, you know, what may look terrible to somebody may look amazing to somebody else. I mean, I'm assuming nobody knows who this guy really is. But, like, for example, like I really like the street artist Banksy. I think he has amazing work. And his work goes for a high dollar. And that's someone that I'm thinking didn't go to art school, right? Had his own unique style, just started doing stuff, you know, in rural areas and became famous off of it. But that was a style that nobody was used to and was looking for. And, you know, now, you know, I mean, we still don't know who he is, essentially. We can play the who is it game. Who's that Pokemon, you know? Who's that artist? But, yeah, so, I mean, you know, I don't like the whole snobby part of that either. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just...
Well, I love Banksy because of that. Because, I mean, he's, you know, he'll walk into a museum and just sort of like, boop, hang his own painting on the wall, almost to point fun at the contemporary art world and the sort of the class system that it's evolved in. And I've never been from any sort of money, so I've been in art competitions with, you know, that I'm not going to win because I'm not the co-owner of the town that is debuting.
Yeah.
I've had competition with certain people where it had so much to do with class and so little to do with the art that was produced.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I started doing whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
People would say, "Hey, can you do this?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I can do that."
Yeah.
Can you do this? Totally.
Yeah.
What do you want me? Essentially, I'll do anything. Oh, how much is this? And I go, free, because I could tell you appreciate it. Kind of almost in a cynical way to make fun of the people that say, "Oh no, my painting is worth 40 grand."
Yeah.
Is it though? Like, is it actually?
Well, it's whatever somebody wants to pay for it, right? Like it's, I mean, that's because it's worth 40 grand because you paid 40 grand. You decided within your small niche of 5 collectors that it was worth 40 grand, and you guys bid on it until you got that price. But essentially, after it got painted, it was worth nothing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, does that not make sense? It's funny talking to you about this. I know this is Pokemon stuff and Pokemon Pokecast and stuff, but if you guys really think deeper into what Dave is talking about, when it goes back into his channel, the way he looks on the art world and painting and stuff, I see that in his Pokemon content because he is one of the fewer guys that, when opening a pack, appreciates every single card in that pack and sees the other side of the card. Like, for example, let me go ahead and switch my cam here real quick. Like, I can grab this, I don't know, this Mudbray, for example. I mean, I can guarantee you that 85% of you guys that are right now hanging in the live stream or watching this afterwards would not see the value in the artwork in this Mudbray. But Dave would see something different into this. Like, he's picturing the mud. I'm assuming now. I'm this is my opinion, what I see when I watch your channel and videos. But you see the Mudbray in the field hanging out next to the barn in the back, with all these Pokeballs. And then you can imagine an idea and transform this card into a piece of artwork that you would appreciate and you would hope that somebody else appreciate at the end. So you just talking about your artwork and your outlook on the snobs and the other piece of artwork, like the stuff that you're against. And I see you just putting that back into your channel just because that, that's what I see. Like that, just talking about that, it really makes sense to me, Just getting your perspective on that makes sense for me now as to why you do things on your channel the way that you do. And you go to the beat of your own drum because that's just how you see things and appreciate things on a different aspect than most of us as Pokemon collectors do, right? And I'm one of those people, right? Like, I see the shiny Charizard, I see the first editions, I see the big things, but I don't take time sometimes to appreciate the uncommons, the commons, and I mean even the energies. I've seen you talk about an energy. You went out to a card store and you bought energies from 1999. I would never do that. Never. In a million years would my first thought to go to a card store and buy 25 energies from 1999.
Yeah.
I would think that I can go to Shoebox somewhere and find some, but you went out of your way to get them just because you appreciate that artistic factor, and it's different, and different is good. And that's why I appreciate your channel, and I hope that the people that are tuning in for this after or not subscribed to you take that with them going into your channel and can actually appreciate the other side of things, There's always grass greener on the other side of the fence, and I think sometimes people should take a leap and try it out and not go for that, the top tier stuff and do something a little bit different. And that's why I appreciate your channel and the stuff that you and Teeps do, because it just, it's different, and I like different.
Thank you. I'm trying to more or less do that. Teach by example. Like, that's why I've reached out to some of the larger channels, the in-betweens, the people on the route to creating something, especially if I see, like, okay, this person has potential. I don't have control over it, but I would love them to potentially stay humble on the path because I could see they're awesome people. I could see something in what they're doing is going to be big, is going to make it in some way. And then I do see that, I'm not specifically hating, but There are channels like Leon Hart that I might not like as much simply because of the lack of appreciation that has happened over years and years and years of doing something and then becoming jaded and sort of forgetting the reason you started.
Correct.
You like what you're doing, you like that other people like it, but then once you lose your grasp of the appreciation of why you started and all the other people involved, that's one of the reasons I give cards away. Like, yes, if you want me to take a couple weeks and make a bunch of paintings or something, I'll do it, and I'll charge you, hey, $20, something, maybe to buy new paints. Maybe. But for the most part, I like to. I mean, there are people who they do create amazing artwork. They create some beautiful painted cards, but then they'll try to sell it for $500.
Yeah.
And although it may be appreciated and people like it, it's very rare that somebody's going to, like, charging by the hour when you don't necessarily even have a name yet.
Yeah.
And that's kind of ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so now you have a house full of custom cards you painted, but you can't get them anywhere because you're waiting until somebody is like, boom, you know.
Well, I think it also, too, I mean, speaking of that, I think it's also important not to ever lose sight of that either. Even, if tomorrow you woke up one morning and you had 7 million subscribers, I would still hope that you would not lose the appreciation of still doing that, Still maybe sending it up. And I feel like a lot of content creators sometimes do lose that. And I've spoken to many people throughout, my Pokemon journey and said, yeah, well, it was one time like this and now it's like this. And I feel like people often lose sight of what was important in the beginning. And I think it's just important to carry that with you. And I'm hoping that it's something I can take with me as well. And anybody that's been with me, take that as like what it was like that and take it with me wherever the journey goes. And I would really hope that if I was taking a different route and it was changing and I wasn't who I was in the beginning, I would hope that someone would kick me in the behind and make me realize and call me out on it. That way I can go back on track. Because sometimes we do lose sight of what was most important with success. And I think it's important sometimes for people to be reminded about how it really was in the beginning. That way you don't lose the genuine side of why people liked you in the first place, right?
Absolutely.
And I do think it's very important. Like I said, if anybody is, if I'm still doing this 5 years down the road and I lost sight of something, please let me know, because I would definitely not want to be in that category as well. So it's definitely, I definitely agree with you on that. It makes perfect sense.
It's one of the reasons I reached out to pros to do grip tapes too. It's one of the reasons I've given away so many paintings. I've sold a ton. I am a professional artist, but whether it could be seen as cynical or not, I like to almost do the opposite of what somebody in my same position might do, just to prove that you should do what's right. It shouldn't always necessarily be about some kind of game. That the entire world and why we create, why we make content, why we film things, why we take pictures, it's all about sharing something else with someone else and sort of creating a whole community, whether or not you have 100 million subscribers or you're just starting out. It should be about creating, it shouldn't be really about being the next whomever you're trying to be, because every single person is different. So when we focus on that and then we can share what we do have in common, it just becomes, there's so much less weight in it.
Yeah.
So I do poke fun of, the people who take themselves a little too seriously. And of course, I'm as serious as the next person, as goofy as I could be, but more or less about, I don't know. We can all come up with the ideas of who we think of when we say stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's. I've always said, like, anybody that asks me a question, and like I said, by any means, I'm not like big or anything like that. But anybody asks me, like, starting off with content creating, like, when and they get lost in analytics and whatnot, just as I have gotten lost in the analytics. Don't do it if you're not having fun anymore. It's about having fun that comes first. If you're not having fun and you're not having fun creating and sharing and talking with the community and being involved, then it's not for you. You want to share your experience and you want to talk about other people's experiences. And I'm not necessarily saying support everybody out there in the world, but as long as it's fun and you're keeping it fun, then it's something you should definitely keep pursuing. Once it stops being fun and becoming work, that's when you should really think about whether you want to change something or go back to your roots, and go back to making it fun. Because the more fun you make yourself and the more fun you have it, so do other viewers and people in the community. They enjoy it more because you're having fun, so why couldn't they have fun doing it themselves and relating to your content as well? And I think that's very, very important as far as content. Once it's not fun anymore, it's not fun for everybody else. Once it becomes a job, it's a job. It's something that you want to dread doing. And we all have our good days. We all have our bad days.
Yes.
We're all human beings. We all go through those phases, but don't get lost in the analytics. And often, a lot of times, we do. And whether you have 20 views or you have 5,000 views, if that video was quality to you and you had a great time doing it, then it's worth $1 million. You know what I mean? And that's what honestly should matter in the end. And the few people that commented and enjoyed it as well, great, but just keep doing it and don't give up as long as it's fun. Don't make it a job. So
truer words could not have been spoken.
I can attest that especially starting out, that's one of the big things. You just get lost in the analytics and you get lost in all this kind of things. And, I think most of us do, but, don't lose sight of growing. Don't just be like, oh, well, I'll post every 4 or 5 months, but definitely make sure that you're having fun doing it. I think it's very important that you're having fun. Hey, some evolutions.
I got a pack that we're looking for Zards.
Also, I giggled at the chat earlier because I saw that I had all my Spanish friends putting some fire emojis after my Hey, there it is. After my learning Spanish in high school, I know my Spanish people were firing up the emojis. So that's pretty funny. But
I took it actually, just to make sure I wasn't able to use any of it in real world situations. I don't want to be practical, and that's ridiculous.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and crack a sword and shield that I still have over here.
No.
Been needing to crack it up. All right, here we go.
I'm grabbing a paper towel. I spilled juice.
Oh gosh. By the way, guys, those of you that are still hanging out with us, we'll probably wrap it up here shortly. But if you guys have any questions for Dave that you want me to go ahead and ask him, definitely put something in the comments, and I will be sure to ask Dave. And I'm sure he wouldn't mind answering your questions. Kenny Damey, so how did that McKeg burger go down? It went down smooth in the beginning, but it was like eating a bag full of rocks at the end. It was just rough, just absolutely rough. And I I mentioned this earlier, but the last bite was definitely by far the worst of my whole experience. It was the last bite. At that point, my throat was full of burger meat. I couldn't take the smell, and I just could not even look at it. But I had to just hold my composure because I needed to go ahead and get that thing down. And it ended up working out one way or the other. It took 20 some odd minutes, but we made it work. We made it work. And and feel free, man. Feel free to go ahead and take on the challenge. Feel free. The more people that do it is the more happier I am, because I just want to share that experience with all of y'all and hope that you share it back with me.
It was so funny. I watched
CJB, actually, technically now, Hollow One commented on there, and it was like, right now you are currently my spirit animal. And that absolutely made me freaking chuckle. So.
I'm stoked for...
But, so Dave, what's next for Dave Third Eye Wood? What's next for your channel, man? What's some hidden secrets that we don't know about yet?
Let's see. Ooh, nice melodic.
There it is.
We've got some stuff in store, some more story time. I'm going to be doing way more art as well.
Okay. Now, like, you're going to do live art recording, or?
Both. I was going to also start doing some live stream art.
Okay.
Once I get a new computer, I want to try to set it up.
Well, that would be a first, right? You've never done live stream art, have you?
I think I did one, but my organization skills aren't quite there. So,
I think that'd be super interesting. Some live stream art, just hanging out and freaking painting away for hours at a time. Hey, that's similar. I just had a Snorlax reverse.
Snap! That's a switcheroo.
There it is. But yeah, as mentioned earlier, guys, make sure if you want to ask any questions for Dave, I'll be more than happy to ask him. And like I said, he'll be more than happy, I'm sure, to answer some of y'all questions, whether it's his channel or maybe some art questions. You got an artist here. Might as well ask him something if anyone is interested. Huh? Oh no, green code card, gave it away. Darkness Ablaze was finally a green code card. I ended up getting 2 holographics and then that Crobat from Darkness Ablaze. So far everyone has been a hitter.
Yeah, I've been getting awesome luck from Darkness Ablaze.
Yeah, same here. These 2-pack blisters, for those of y'all that don't know and haven't opened one yet, are absolutely great. The pull ratio is insane, if not better than a booster box almost. I mean, I've gotten gold from there, hyper rares, I've gotten full arts. I think it's well worth it. Sudan asked, Van Gogh or Monet?
That's hard to... They're kind of both... They're a similar style. I'd probably say Monet.
Why is that?
More or less, I guess he was kind of like an older version of myself in a way. He created and painted in the style that he painted in, specifically because nobody else was really down with it. Everybody was more about the Victorian style, hyper-realistic, seeing solid oil paint imagery, and he sort of just wanted to not do that and show that you could still create something beautiful with depth in a less controlled way.
Okay.
Just for the sake of it. I mean, even Picasso could, recreate a beautiful portrait. He was like, yeah, I could do that all day, no problem. How about if I just don't, though, and still give you something more or less to think about? Like, that's why I enjoy things like, modern art and conceptual art, things that make you think, which you prove some sort of ability before you just kind of, put it an ant in a jar, and then
some Bob Ross trees, maybe.
Yeah.
Painting with trees with Bob Ross. Who, by the way, I loved growing up. I mean, that dude was, I mean, legendary, right? He was iconic growing up with Bob Ross, you know?
That was my jam. I was wearing my Galactic Bob Ross before this, but I did one kickflip and soaking wet, so.
Fighting with flamingos, who wins? Suit on segment. That seems like a Dave question for sure.
Flamingos. They're organized.
Zay asked, I'm trying to get back into digital art. Any pointers you can give? Same as with writing. It seems like I've lost my drive. Creativity, perhaps?
See, that's why it is hard to keep the creative flow going. That's why I do Pokemon, because I'm able to get the need to do art and stuff, but without the... And yeah, there are some things that I do that do require a little bit more focus, a little bit more time, but I can get out the artist kind of angst and not necessarily take myself so seriously.
Yeah.
And that's how I started getting into that specific niche. I guess it's easy for me in a certain kind of way, and I can do something more serious. Of course, I'm going to take a ton of time on something if it's specifically for somebody. But sometimes you do sort of have to step back in order to let the creativity flow.
Okay.
And then it comes at different times. Like, it isn't easy to... Oh, nice.
Hey, nice. That's a nice reverse Poliwrath there.
Yeah, that's a nice reverse rare. All right. And then we got...
Raticate. Sacrifice. There it is. Kenny said, I was late on the podcast, but I enjoyed all the series while at work. I will definitely be listening to the full podcast. Yeah, dude, for sure. Dave is a great freaking guy. He's full of interesting stories and ideas and takes on Pokemon and the artistic world. I think it's definitely worth to go back and listen to it. We've gone through some actually really good topics right from the beginning, so well worth it. He says, I have a question. What was your favorite deck and skater from original Tony Hawk? There it is.
Ooh.
That's a good question. We haven't really gotten too much in depth as far as skateboarding goes.
Yeah, that is actually a really good question. My favorite deck and skater from Tony Hawk, which is trippy. They did just come out with the new... Ooh, nice Suicune.
There it is.
They came out with the new Tony Hawk, like the old 1 and 2, but they like remastered it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I saw that too.
But dang, it's hard to say. Probably something like... My favorite deck was the Flip Cheech and Chong. The Tom Penny. And Tom Penny was probably one of my favorite skaters. Ali Boulala.
Nice.
And then when girl skateboards was a thing, probably around, it still is, but 2001 or so was my jam.
Kenny said, I was Jamie Thomas and Red Baker Bold.
Okay. All right. There was some Jamie Thomas. I had a shorties board for a bit. And I had a couple zeros, but both of those I found I break very easily. Speaking of break very easily.
Oh, man. That board has seen better days.
It has. It's actually...
That is a wall board from here on out.
Yeah, and I actually think I was thinking about a upcoming giveaway. I might paint this, or I might be through another 2 boards by then. So who knows? So
That'd be cool.
Old board.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I was thinking of cutting that off, sanding it down, making something available like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think a lot of people would be into that. Definitely something unique. I mean, I haven't seen a custom Pokemon skateboard be given away.
Right? I'd be down with that. Actually, no. He actually did buy it. Gyarados Freak was one of my first commissions through YouTube.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he got some Gyarados grip, and it came out freaking.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Gyarados Freak, man, he's a great dude. He's probably working right now. He hasn't made it for the Pokecast, but I'm sure he'll tune in a later period and drop some comments down below.
I'll show up at his house. Actually,
do you guys stay next to? Is he from California too?
No, he's all the way in North Carolina.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like a hour north or something of NC.
There it is. Yeah, I know he's a little bit further out. I don't know why I was thinking, who else is out there in California with you? I thought there was somebody else pretty close by you.
I think Trainer Leo is...
That's what it was. Yep, Trainer Leo. Yep, Trainer Leo was out there in California with you. Yep.
Yeah, they're down in San Diego.
Mad Max. What is up, Packbuster? Whoops, wrong channel. That's funny. But yeah, Dave. I mean, dude, you are full of freaking stories, man, and just your outlook on things, I think, is very, very unique. And I think a lot more people should think like Dave. Be like Dave. I think I actually put that in my description below. I was like, you know what? Be like Dave. Because sometimes, especially like in the Pokemon stuff, we lose a little bit of, I think, in my opinion, a little bit of sight of what's the most important thing. And sometimes we follow others and we don't appreciate the other lighter aspect of Pokemon cards and why we collect in the first place, you know?
Right.
Some people get lost in the money of Pokemon. Some people get lost in the big pulls. Some people, get lost into the sealed stuff and flipping that, and then we just kind of lose sight of why Pokemon was important. So I think you kind of shine light as to be like, hey, let's fix that. Let's get back to loving it because we love it, not because it's something we have to do or something that we need to change how we see it because everybody else is following the same waiting line.
Right, absolutely, and that's sort of. I mean, I do. If I pull a Charizard, I'm stoked. If I pull something gold, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I don't ever want it to anything daunting or we all have our days, but finding the positive aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why we start, the fact that all or most of us at least did get into this when we were kids.
Yep.
Obviously weren't able to go out and buy cards, weren't able to do the things maybe wished our parents were involved in it or something. Now that we have the ability to do that,
mm-hmm.
to definitely focus on the fact that, I remember when I was a little kid trying to explain to my mom what a Pikachu was.
Yeah.
She cared.
Yeah.
I mean, she tried to pretend to care.
Yeah.
With the lightning, and she'd be like, oh.
Yeah, of course. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she'd be like, all right.
Collectionista wants to know, Dave, do you have any hidden fates?
Do I have any hidden fates?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has any hidden fates.
Yeah, I mean, I have a sealed box, but pretty much, I'm trying to actually look for some myself. That way, I could try my hunt for the shiny Zard again. It's one of the very few cards I'm missing from my master set, so it's pretty much become a prick on my side right now.
I've seen, 2 people pull on Cards and Zards.
Yeah, Golden Wardle has pulled it, and so has JD State CCM90.
Yeah.
So.
Got a reverse.
Yeah,
and...
it was. Hey, there it is. A little hyper rare action. There it is, coming in clutch.
All right.
There it is. Celebration mode right there. We'll take some Sword and Shield base hyper rare.
Yeah, that's
all
awesome.
day, every day.
Fuck yes.
That's freaking awesome.
It is hard for me to filter myself. I'm sorry.
Epic's Tube just joined and said, "Dang, Dave, the most requested YouTuber on the planet at the moment." Me and Dave have actually been talking about getting him on here for a while now. It's just I had so many people lined up, and finally just came into fruition. Like it's been a long time coming there, Epic. So I got to him first. All right, I got to him first. You guys just happened to catch him at the right time, and after all the scheduling that I had.
It ended up working out perfectly. I mean, I was traveling. I was able to. Crap, I've gone live like a bunch. But I was able to do that up in Washington. Had a good window of time. We had to reschedule for yesterday for the giveaways for our SG chat, and that was sick. Also, another person, small openings. Dude is so rad.
Yeah, he's awesome. Henry's awesome.
Yeah, he's such a good dude. He was when Hidden Fates first came out, I could not get a hold of it. I hadn't done a pack battle. He sent me a pin collection.
Wow.
To do my technically my first one-on-one pack battle. Mythic Pokemon. He sent me Cosmic Eclipse to do a pack battle with him in TCG Funhouse before that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I've just been blown away so many separate times.
Which is crazy too. Like that's another thing too, and that I think is very, very important. And I think a lot of people that are either not PokeTubers and are just regular watchers and that enjoy Pokemon content. I think a lot of people don't see that side because it doesn't really happen on the bigger channel scale as much, right? You don't see it as often. They do get some mail-in, but it's typically just to showcase something. It's never just like a contribution to somebody. But like a lot of people lose sight or don't see the underlyings of what we do as smaller PokeTubers, and we give and share and help somebody out that actually needs it, and just enjoys doing Pokemon stuff together. So if somebody needs help, we'll do something. Or if you want to do a pack battle but they don't have it, they'll send something out to you so you can make that pack battle happen. And there's a lot of genuine stuff that happens within the small PokeTuber community, which I think is freaking awesome. And I wish more people knew about. I wish they really did. Aside from the Pokemon Tuber community, a lot of the people that just watch the regular content don't realize like some of the stuff that happens. And it's just genuine, good-hearted stuff. And I think that's awesome.
That's the main motivation for what attracts me to certain channels. When I pay attention to a lot of what people do, what they're talking about, what they're posting on Instagram, what they're saying on Twitter, what they're watching, how they're commenting on other people's channels. And I totally gravitate to those people that like, hey, they're doing a similar thing, but I could tell, oh, this guy over here, he's a good person. And I want to support that the same way, hopefully motivate them, especially see somebody who's, they're trying hard, they're editing their stuff, they're doing the right thing, they're connecting with people, they're making people happy. So I want to support that. Then I do. There's plenty of people I see that, they get pissed and they get upset and they are ranting and raving and obviously aren't having the most fun they can with it. And of course, it can be daunting. Sometimes I'll just not upload for a good week and a half or two because I'm like,
Just I hear it, man. Like I said earlier, like we all have those kind of moods. We all get into that kind of mood, and sometimes it happens, and it happens to the best of us. It doesn't matter how big you are, you know. There's I've seen big channels where they go on a hiatus for a week or so, and they don't post anything just because they were going through something in their life, and it just happens. And it doesn't have to. You don't have to necessarily go through something in your life. You can just be having a bad day. Like sometimes we have bad days, you know. As crazy as it sounds, we also do have bad days. But it happens. It happens. But was April only Leonhardt rants when his vids 800K isn't being recommended enough? Yeah, I mean, you know,
that's crazy to me to see. It was a good perspective thing.
Yeah.
I hope other people that saw it the way that I did, like, which is weird. I want to motivate people to, you know, I don't care if you don't have to give back. You don't have to. You just have to, at least in your own realm, not take it to a level like that. And I understand when you are making money, when you got to pay bills and such. But it's no secret how much a big big YouTuber in general makes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes more than most people make in a month on one video.
Yeah.
And then sometimes not, you know, it does vary, you know, it's not like all of them are Mr. Beast or anything like that.
Yeah.
But to then record yourself and actually complain literally to the individuals who are responsible for you getting any sort of view anyway, that's a complete detached kind of mindset that it's scary to see. Like, you don't want to see people be that inappreciated. Like, oh, I only got 90,000 views in one day.
Yeah,
100% of us.
It's definitely different. It was that whole series of those videos. I agree was definitely a lot different. Even if I was struggling, and I'm assuming just like you too, you know, like you mentioned earlier, like, you know, like not everything was given to us, you know what I mean? And so like, even if I were in that personal situation and I was struggling with my views or what, I still don't think I would just do something like that. I would just do something different, you know? And, I mean, but we all deal with things differently, so I can't hold that completely against him. Like, you know, that was what he chose to do, and, you know, he did what he did. And, you know, and it either worked for him or it didn't. I really don't know the analytics behind that, and I'll never know. But, yeah, we all take it a little bit different. I would have taken a different approach. I would have tried something different or done something different. And, although, you know, he did too. He did try different things as well. But, you know, I mean, we all deal with stuff differently, right? We all panic in different situations.
And I don't know. I'm not in that position, so I don't know. And I do just the same. Most of these people, I assume they're probably awesome people. Probably nice, rad people, but there's also why I like to support certain people and just hope that they don't lose sight of.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we talked earlier, like I said, if anybody out there, if anything were to happen, I were to wake up tomorrow and have like 30 million subscribers and be up there with, you know, Mr. Beast, which is absolutely unrealistic. But if I ever lost sight of why I started this and my demeanor changes or my personality changes, I would hope that you guys would all come knocking on my house and be like, hey, fix your stuff. Get it together, dude. Like, you know, it's not you, you know, and I never want to lose sight of that. And sometimes we do need that, you know, that kick and that someone to call us out to realize some things. Not even in social media or like in life in general, right? Like, sometimes you are going down a bad road and you need someone to stop you and be like, hey, dude, like, if you're not going to fix it, it's just going to get worse. Or, you know, you're losing the sight of what you were originally trying to do. You're losing sight of that, dude. Let's get back on track. You know, be you, do you. And I never want to go ahead and lose that. But, yeah. That's all I got.
We've hit so many good points that I'm glad just sort of surfaced
Yeah.
in this, and that's why I think we do anything that we do, why we gravitate toward a passion, why we hope other people can see something in that and appreciate it,
Mm-hmm.
and tie it into their own lives and just sort of motivate, teach by example. And the whole community aspect is what kept me
Yeah.
totally more invested, because it's not just me. There are people who I get messages and stuff. They say, you just made my day. I'm in a rough spot.
Mm-hmm.
I get pretty real with some people sometimes, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, I was feeling this way. You said something in your video, and it made me go this way. And when involved with any kind of thing, it could be drawing, it could be skateboarding, it could be crafting, collecting. There's a point where you do ask yourself, like, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I do this thing? And then there are certain things that happen that remind you why. Like, why did I get involved in making cards? Because
Mm-hmm.
other people are going to like them. I
Yeah.
like creating, of course, but other people appreciate it even more so. It makes them look back at some of the things that they have. And not like I've done it on purpose, but
Yeah.
I've had people who I know aren't giving people decide to drop that wall and become giving people just because I decided to reach out to them, and they're
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very important too. I mean, it is important. And I think the Pokemon community in general, is some of the nicest people I've met around, just genuine, cool, kind-hearted people. And by the way, anybody that does watch the Pokecast after or, during, anything that's said on the Pokecast, like, I want, the reason the Pokecast for me was to see the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of Poketubing, even Pokemon product, whatever the case may be. So, like, I hope nobody takes offense to anything that's said or anything like that as we talk about things. I just want to kind of like hash it out. That's the point of the Pokecast, to just sit here and have a real conversation with a real person and see what else is behind that other, the other side of the curtain. And wanting your guys' opinion as well, whether you're a Poketuber, whether you are just a viewer, subscriber, if you're just tuning in for the first time and you don't want to subscribe to anybody, you just want to watch, that's perfectly fine too. But I just want to, the point of the Pokecast and like talking like this with Dave is just to see all different sides and aspects of what we have going on and what happens and what the newest is and the latest and the worst and, the ugly, whatever the case may be. Let's just talk. Let's just sit down and have a normal conversation. Let's just talk about things, because I think it's important for people to not get lost in, not get stuck in the bubble and kind of, get out of the bubble a little bit. Let's talk about some more. Let's talk about something a little bit different. Let's talk about the uglier sides of things sometimes if we need to. And
I love getting real on that level, like especially with something like Pokemon, like
yeah,
flipping it. And I mean, with anything, you make money, that's fine. But there's some people who take it to the extreme. I've seen things sold on Walmart website quadruple the price, and somebody's going to buy it. It's like, oh man, like when did that become that? Like such a huge shift.
Yeah. Which I've talked about before too on previous Pokecast. That got brought up. It sucks. And what's even worse than flipping it is buying the product, taking the good stuff out, and then returning it and then giving it. That's even worse, And that stuff does happen, guys. It really does. I've seen it firsthand. I've witnessed it firsthand, and I have numerous people that reach out and do say that this has happened to them, and it sucks. It's not fun. It's not great, but those are some of the things like that I want to talk about, because people don't realize that stuff does happen, or if it has happened to them, they can potentially relate to it, and and to share their experience.
Yeah, that's I've gotten some resealed glued stuff before.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I've gotten some stuff that was all resealed, but I found one or two cards that I was stoked on.
Yeah.
Also, how I ended up thinking of painting cards because I'd get some cards that are messed up, maybe bent. Like, I don't know. There's like some kind of piece of soul in that thing.
Yeah, that you just need to rejuvenate. Just get it out of there, you know?
Basically, well, Pokeloot Collector, he had recently found some cards. They were thrashed, but they're all really cool. So I just sent him some rad stuff. He said it was way too much things, but it's, I don't know. But they're all old. They're just so clutch, and a lot of them are water damaged and screwed up.
Yeah.
And you got like, there's a French Alakazam.
That's cool.
And you can see how it's like sun faded on the side.
Yeah.
And when you take it out of this hard sleeve, it's like.
Oh yeah. Well, who knows? Hopefully the top loader helps it bend it back into shape a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. I put like another card behind that. But.
Oh yeah, you can see a little bit there on camera.
Yeah, it's almost white.
Yeah.
But they needed to be appreciated somehow.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree.
I'm stoked.
I know. I don't know if Trainer Leo popped in or not yet, or if at all. But same with him. He's buying some cars that were beat up and damaged. It's like, man, it sucks that it's in this condition, but I enjoy it. I still have it. I'm not gonna throw it away.
What?
You know.
Look at this Typhlosion.
Oh man, that thing has seen better days, sir. Whoa. That is completely freaking the other side of the grading spectrum.
I would love to try to grade
it. I don't think you can get below a 1, but if you know that, I can already tell you to get a 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
they might not
man.
send it back. They'd just be like, "What? This one's no, it's warped." But some of these were just so cool to have.
Yeah.
He was gonna throw them out or something, and I was like,
yeah, no, you definitely gotta take those in. Typhlosion, I'll grade it. I'll grade it, dude. Send it to me. That's what Yizzy said. That's funny. Nice.
It looks in decent condition. They're all messed up. But
yeah. But it's all good though. I mean, as long as you can appreciate them and you like them and you enjoy them, I mean, that's all that really matters. The collecting is in the end, right?
Absolutely. And some of the cards that I send out, it's like, I just hope somebody appreciates it, takes care of it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, you know. Keeps the positive outlook of why they started it. I love seeing people open cards with their kids. Like,
yeah. Yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty that do. Trainer Wolf does. Trainer Leo does. NC Packbuster. I mean, I can keep. You know, they're having fun though. That's all that really matters. You know, and they're not worried about what's going on else. It's like as long as they're having fun, that's all that really matters to them. And I agree. That's, you know, as long as you're having fun, good, great, because that's what it's meant to be in the first place. Fun.
Yeah, teaching the kids responsibility too. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Hey, you take care of this, and you can only come open cards if you're good, and positive motivation kind of thing.
Agreed.
It's rad. It can bring 80-year-olds together with 4-year-olds.
Yeah, I agree completely. Limitless paper in a paperless world. Hollow One. Agreed. Old aka CJV. For those who don't know. But Yizzy said, "Oh my God, you're really gonna flash that Arcanine Typhlosion at my face," as if he doesn't have an impressive Arcanine and Typhlosion collection himself.
He has such a dope collection.
He does. He really does. So I don't know what he's worried about. But Dave, dude,
I could send you this Arcanine, Yizzy, if you don't have it.
he has it in a pristine form, if you will. He can go ahead and share that in the chat if he wants to.
Maybe if I run this over with a steamroller, it'll be nice. I don't think it'll be a pretty kid.
Yizzy, man. He does love him some Typhlosion Arcanine, though. He really does. So, Dave, dude, we've been at it for almost 2 hours.
Oh, snap.
I think we're going to call wraps. I got to eat some dinner myself.
Yeah,
but, dude, it was a pleasure. Thank you for taking... I mean, you just came back from your freaking voyage, and you took the time... and your live last night, and still took the time to go ahead and hang out. So, first of all, I really appreciate coming and hanging out, dude. I mean, it takes time. It takes time and effort to come and hang out and set up your laptop and chill. And, you know, it's always appreciated when someone can take the time out of the day to come on the podcast. So I appreciate it. I love your content. I will continue watching your content until you decide to burn it to the ground yourself and start a new channel. But hopefully you don't, man. Hopefully you, honestly, you stay on track with the Pokemon. I love it. And you can implement, I think personally, you can implement all the aspects that you've learned throughout the years and still feed the Pokemon channel with that stuff. I think it goes hand in hand. It's the perfect tie-dye mix. So I suggest you stick with it. And if you want to go back to your older channels to Narcanum, definitely do it. But don't lose sight of this one, dude, because it's something special. And I think it's really going to grow more and more for you as time comes. Like I said to everybody, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So let's just grind it out and keep it moving. But if anybody is watching this and made it all the way to the end, or you guys are hanging out and you're not subscribed to Dave already, please do. I promise you're going to enjoy the content. Teeps wasn't on, but you will meet her through the content, either videos or lives, and she is a hoot. So definitely go ahead and no pun intended with hoot hoot. But but definitely watch this stuff. You're going to freaking love it. I highly recommend it. And like I said, Dave, I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me for 2 hours and talking Pokemon and art and whatever other experiences we've hashed out a bunch. We've hashed out a bunch. Skateboarding. I mean, we've covered it all. So.
Yeah, dude, this is great. Thank you so much. It was a blast.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I appreciate your time, dude, and the effort. And then for anybody that wants to know who I'm going to have on next week, because I've had actually a bad habit of remembering, be like, all right, next week, tune in next week. I've been forgetting to do that, so I'm going to do it. Tune in next week. We'll have, you guys are probably familiar with the dude, but we'll have Real Breaking Nate on next week.
Oh,
so it should be a fun Pokecast. We're going to learn a lot. I'm going to ask him some deep questions about Poketubing, deep questions about Pokemon and what he does. So it should be a fun Pokecast as well. So he was generous to also take time out of his day to come hang out with us in the Pokecast. So Real Breaking That next week. Tune in for that.
That's it. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so it should be a fun time. I'm excited, and hopefully you guys are too. But Dave, once again, a pleasure. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. I actually had to DM you about something, and I forgot what it was, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. I'll remember, and I'll go ahead and message you. But I'm going to close this one out. So, rub. Until next time, guys, we are out. Later.
Peace.
Dave, appreciate it, dude.